How would you turn this? Keep watching. I'll show you how I'm going to turn it. The piece is about 14 inches long, about 8 inches wide, about 5 inches, 5.5 inches tall. This comes to us from Daron and Teresa in Texas. It's a piece of sycamore, and what he tells me is this comes from an old sycamore tree out in their pasture. This was sticking out like this, and a branch came down and sat on there for a long time until this started growing around it. And he took this piece off, and it's been in his shop for several years. And he started watching my channel, and he thought, you know what, I bet Phil would like to turn that. And so he sent it along, and he's right. I think this is going to be a fun turning. What I'm going to do is not much. I'm not going to do much to the outside. I'm just going to put a tenon on the bottom, most likely, and something for it to set on down there. And then I'm just going to make a hole, a bowl in the middle here, disrupting it as little as possible. In order to make any sort of a size bowl, I'm probably going to take away some of this and maybe some of this, but not much, not much. You'll still have this down here, which is so cool, and you'll still have that over there, which is so cool. I'm not going to do any turning on the outside except, like I said, on the bottom, put some sort of base under there. So how I'm going to mount it, well, I'm still working that out. There's a couple of things I can do. I want to keep it as straight as I can, like you're seeing it, and I just don't want to disturb any part of this. That's so wonderful. So let me work out how I'm going to make a flat spot in here for a woodworm screw. I think I could just turn it between centers, and I might. Let me just work at that for a little while. I'll let you know what I do. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or as we like to say here at Shady Acres Wood Shop. Howdy, I'll see you over here at the lathe. Well, I started to drill a flat spot for my chuck jaws to set against, because I do want to use my woodworm screw. I just prefer it, that's all. So I measured and looked at all which ways and tilted the thing one way or the other, trying to get it centered on the bottom. And what I'm using is a Forstner bit in my drill, handheld. Generally these Forstner bits are meant to be used in a drill press, not handheld. They're kind of hard to control, but you can see that I started, and I think I can complete it without embarrassing myself. So I decided to turn the camera on and show you what I'm doing. I do have to hold this end up as I press, because my vice jaws can't hold this much weight this long the way I have it clamped in there. So let's see if we can do this again. If I can find that middle again. Looks like right there. And hang on to this. Okay, that will work. So now I'm going to use one of Tuffy's inventions to hold this on the lathe. I'll show you that. I also drilled the hole for my woodworm screw. Now what I'm going to do is use Tuffy's invention, which is this chuck extension. It's made out of aluminum. It's very well made, very heavy duty. Got a nice long worm screw in there. So I'm going to put this through my headstock all the way through the other end. And then on the other end I'm going to put these 3 items. First the knob to screw it all together, to hold it together, and then a spacer, and then the nut to lock it in place. And once that's done, then I'll tighten the chuck jaws, and that'll keep it all together. No chance of it coming apart. It's a wonderful invention, and what it does is I don't have to drill a great big hole. This is only, I don't know what it is, about 2 inches, I guess. So I drilled a 2 1/4 inch hole. It's gonna hold really, really well. So let me get that all set up. So now we'll just thread it on there. Okay, that is going to work. Now we'll just flatten off a spot here, put a tenon on there, flip it around and make a bowl. It's gonna be fun. Well, I've been looking this piece over before we get started here, trying to decide recess or tenon, what kind of a base am I gonna make on it. You know, I'm not turning anything, just this area, actually about right here, I guess. And you can see that this leg, this side of this bowl is fairly straight, and then over here it's close, and then it just widens out, widens way out. Here we're about 2.5 inches away from the tool rest. Here we're pretty straight. Typically I'll make a little base around here like that with a tenon or a recess in the middle of that. I don't have a lot of room because of this. I don't want to run into that. I guess I'm just thinking out loud here. But I feel like because it's so long and narrow that I need a wider base, you know, like 4 or 5 inches, so that it'll sit stable, won't rock. Since I'm so close here, but I can't take a lot away, but I'm so far away here, it's just a conundrum, and I don't want to come up this far. This side's fine, but here we don't have a lot of room. So I think I'm going to go with a recess. I think that'll save me from getting too close to this, but I still don't know how I'm going to do a base. I'm going to have to flatten this off until I get over here just about even with this. I'm just going to have to work at it. It's possible I might run into this. I don't want to, but I have to make something for it to sit on. It has to be flat on the bottom. I'm going to be turning at 470 RPM, 5/8 inch bowl gouge, mask and face shield on. Well, that's not going to work. Can you see? You probably can't tell. This is still very close, and this is still very far away. And I'm getting close to this. Now I have enough room here to make a recess. That's not an issue, but it's not going to sit flat because this is so much closer this way than this is. So about my only choice is to turn that away more like this side, but it's not going to be natural. The bark's going to be gone. It's not going to look like that anymore. But I don't see any other choice. I mean, yeah, I could glue something on here. I could glue a base on it. It's not what I want to do. I want it to be a log with a hole in the middle. Well, dang it. Maybe I didn't think this all the way through, did I? I don't know what I'm going to do. Let me think about it a little more. Well, the truth is I just have no choice. I'm just going to have to flatten this off. It'll just be this side that gets flattened off. Over here it'll be 3/4 of a log, and over here it'll be a full log, and that's just the way it's going to have to be. Outside of gluing something on there, and I just don't want to do that. I'm leaving that hoping that I can save it. Still a whole log on that end. I'm sighting down here, wondering what would happen if I left that. I could take it off the chuck and find out, I guess. It might set flat with like that, and I know that's really weird. I guess I will take it off I am going to take it off of here and set it down and see what it looks like. Oh, for heaven's sakes, it sits right up. It sits right up. Can you see that? And from the end, of course, it looks like that, just like the other end does. But from the side, it looks like that. But maybe that's okay. I mean, this is what we're looking for, is what the top looks like. But, you know, I always like to do my best on the bottom, too. But that sure does just sit there. I don't hate it. I think I'll go with that. I gotta clean up my cuts, but I think I'm gonna just keep it on there. Weird, huh? Well, welcome to the weird channel. I'm gonna lay out for the recess. Now I'm gonna make the recess. Now I'm going to use my recess tool to put a dovetail on the side here. It's just so hard when it's just that one leg. We're getting there. That's not bad. Probably about as good as I'm going to get it. And the wood is way softer than I would have imagined. I've turned lots of sycamore before, and it was all way harder than this is. But this is branch wood, so that might make some kind of difference. Yeah, I can sand that. That's what I'll do. I'll just sand it. I'm kind of digging on this the way it is because it works, and it still looks pretty normal from the side and the top. So what does that mean? Well, it means time for sanding. I'm going to start sanding with my Sandoflex. I'm going to sand all the bark, all the unturned parts that I can reach on this piece. This is 180 grit. That's as fine as I will go. When I'm done with that, I'll switch to my 2-inch disc starting at 80 grit. I'm probably going to sand it not turning for a while at least. I might try it turning, or I might just sand it like this. We'll have to find out as soon as I get my mask on. So I'll be doing a lot more of that, but that's kind of what it looks like, and that'll clean it up and smooth it out, but it won't change how it looks. I'm gonna lock my lathe down here a little bit so it can't spin. And then if I do want to spin it, I'll unlock it. I'll try this. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. It's not, I can't see this, you can't see this foot when it's spinning, and I'm gonna smack it and it's gonna ruin this, and so I'll just do this up through 400 grit, and I'll bring it back and we'll put some kind of finish on there. See you in a bit. I don't expect this wood to stand out, you know, there's just not a lot of figure or anything like that, no color. This is all about the top. I am glad that I did it this way with this little foot sticking out here. The more I think about it, the more I like it. It wasn't too bad to sand, took a lot of time, but I'm gonna have to brush a lot of this, I suppose. I just can't wait to get going on the top, but I will wait. Oh, this is sanding sealer I'm applying. Shellac based sanding sealer. It looks like I'll do 2 coats of this and then 2 coats of shellac. It might be faster since I'm gonna have to brush the bark anyway. It might be faster just to put it on there with a brush. So you're probably going to get bored watching me do this because there's not much to it. I don't have much to say about it. I'll have plenty to say on the top side. I know you can't see up here, so I'll just let you go. I'll just be doing this for a while. It'll probably be a day or so getting all these finishes on here. So I'll see you when I see you in a day or so. Have a great evening. Obviously, I've turned the piece around and have the chuck jaws expanded into the recess. I've been standing out here for about, I don't know, an hour trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. The tool rest, the way it sits right now, is as close as I can possibly get. And it's a long ways from here to in there. That's about a 3.5 inch overhang just to get started. That's before I even cut into it. I cannot use a gouge because I can't get the angle that I need, because when this comes around, it wants to hit it. So that's as close as I can get. Decided, okay, I'll use carbide, because with carbide I can just go straight in. The problem with that is multiple. You see this line right here? They used to have a sticker on here. It's kind of coming off. But that's as deep as I can go, and that only gives me about 1 inch that I can go in, which that's a 1 inch hole, 1 inch deep hole for my woodworm screw. So that's as far as I need to go to get to the bottom of that hole, but then I can't go any further, and I have about I don't know, about 2.5 inches, I think. So I could go another 2 inches, but I can only go 1 inch before this just becomes unstable. And to be honest, it really kind of gets unstable before that line gets to here. I messed around and messed around. I thought, okay, I'm just gonna go like that. Well, As soon as I do that, then this hits. So then I have to pull it out. And that clears. But now it hits over here. So I can't get in there. I've tried everything I can. So then I thought, okay, well, I've got a shorter tool rest. Let's try that. I hardly ever drag it out. It's a 6-inch and that other one's a 14-inch. So this might let me get closer. I have not tried it yet. I'm trying it for the first time right now. No, like I say, I haven't tried it. Nope. See, that doesn't help either. Part of the problem is it's not hitting the tool rest, it's hitting here. It's hitting down here on the banjo. And then there's a screw that comes out here from my adjustment lever. It hits that screw or it hits the banjo. So I just can't get close. Yeah, see? Hit the banjo there. In the beginning of this, I said we were probably going to end up cutting some of this away, some of this, and some of this. Well, I don't want to. Now that I'm looking at it, I don't want to do that. It's so perfect. It is just so natural, so perfect. Why would I want to do that? And I really don't want to. So then I thought, okay, I'll make a candle holder, I guess. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna come straight in here as close as I can get. And I don't know. I'm just gonna cut something out of here and start seeing how it looks. People would tell me, put tape on there so you can see what you're doing. And I said, well, I've done that and you still can't see what you're doing. I can't. Other people can. If I put it on both sides, maybe I will be able to. I should be able to see that, huh? Well, wouldn't you think? Wouldn't you think I'd be able to? But it's just, I'll show you. It just makes sort of a big blue blur. You see what I mean? It's just kind of this big blue blur. Doesn't do much for me. You come over here and you stick your tool in there and I'll watch, okay? I still don't know what I'm doing. I still don't know how I'm going to manage this. I suppose I could drill it out, couldn't I? Because I put that hole in there and just drill it for, like I said, like for a candle holder, and then sand this up and finish it and call it good. A one-legged 14-inch long candle holder. Maybe that's what I'll call this video. I don't know. I'm sorry. I just haven't quite worked it all out. Let me give it a little more thought. I'll be right back. Well, then I remembered I have this tool rest that my wife bought me, and she paid good money for this, like over $100. I think I might have used it once. I hate it. People must use them. I mean, they sell them. They've been selling them for years. People must use them, but they don't turn the kind of stuff I turn because it'll never fit in there. It's too wide here. It always wants to hit the bottom of whatever I'm turning down here to get it to the right height up here. And in this case, it won't work anyway. It won't work. Okay, I guess it looks like I'm going to drill it out. I might end up doing a tiny bit of turning at the top of this hole just to round it over or something, if I possibly can. I don't know if I can, but I just don't see any other way to handle this. I'm really disappointed, except that I love that all the nature will be untouched. And I can do more sanding inside here with my Sandoflex and get some finish on there. So that's going to look much nicer. So I just don't see anything else I can do, so this is what I'm going to do. Got the lathe spinning at 250 RPM. This is a 2.5-inch drill bit. Well, I'm embarrassed on so many levels. I guess mostly because I didn't think this through. I just didn't know what the experience was going to be like once I got to this side. And maybe I should have known, I don't know. Anyway, I told you that this is just barely long enough. You can see the line on the tool and the tool rest. And I just tried my gouge, and it's too much of a stretch here to do much good. But then I remembered this tool. Now this brings up another embarrassment. This was sent to me by a viewer whose name I have forgotten, and I apologize so much for that. I've had this for probably I'll bet it's close to 3 years, more than 2. I tried using it when I first got it, and I just wasn't comfortable, I guess. I wasn't successful. I wasn't comfortable. It didn't work for me. But look at all this. Look at this. Look at that. That's long, and it's strong, and it's flat, and it's stable. Shouldn't rock. The bad part, and not because of the design of the tool, but it's designed to be a scraper. That bit sets at an angle, see? Can you see the bit? Sets at an angle to scrape, not to remove a bunch of material, but just to scrape the sides smooth. But I wonder if it wouldn't work. It's still a sharp little cutter, and I don't have to do that much, so it might just work for me. One of the reasons I wasn't comfortable with it, and I'm experiencing it right now, is my right elbow here is hitting the tailstock way back here at the end of the handle. On the other hand, I can just about rest my arm on that tailstock to give me some support. I'm saying all of this because I'm thinking that maybe I want to turn this into a little bowl instead of a candle holder, or it could still be used as a candle holder if I do it right. The bottom would kind of need to be pretty much flat for something to set in there rather than rounded. Do away with the divot, come straight across, and then come out here, out to about here. So I guess I'm gonna try it. I'll try not to get my head in your way, because I really need to lean a little further than I am, and my head's only about 4 inches from you now. So I'm gonna be turning at about 400 RPM. Well, that's not really working. It's just not meant to cut. Maybe I can use it to smooth off that bottom. Maybe. I got about as small as I can get it. It just doesn't want to cut that straight on like it needs to be. And I can't come over this way to catch the cutter because I'll hit this. Well, that's kind of what I had in mind anyway. I wanted to leave it flat around the side for a candle to set in. So now I'm just going to kind of try and open up this opening at the top here a little bit. Finish it off somehow. I don't know. Wow. Shoot. I can't see it. I guess I gotta come over further. See what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to get down to the lower part of this hole. So far all I'm doing is hitting the top points. I'm just about there. I'm just trying to get a finished look on it, that's all. This might take over now. Okay, well, that's as finished as it's gonna get, except for sanding, I guess. Yeah, I just can't get there from here. Okay, I give up. Time for sanding. Okay, I'm gonna ask your opinion. I'm not gonna do it, I don't think. In the beginning I said we would lose some of this edge and a lot of this edge, as it turns out. But I could open that bowl way up if I did that. If I were to cut this away. So we'd probably lose about that much of this. That'd end up being kind of a square edge or something. I could round, well, I don't know if I could round it over or not. I don't know what I could do with it. But that would be gone. But you'd still have this. And you'd still have this. But don't you think that would just ruin the look? For people that never saw it like this, they'd say, oh, that's pretty cool. But if they saw it like this, they'd say, well, Phil, you idiot, what'd you do that for? But I'm more concerned about you guys and me than I am about people that never saw it. So I'm going to ask you about that. So put that in your comment. Should I have cut that away? But I'm not going to. Okay, now time for sanding, really. Well, this is going to be fun. I'm going to sand with my Sandoflex as best I can without it spinning, of course. I'll show you whatever it is I figure out I can do. This is also going to be a good time. About all I can do is hold it straight. I can't lean it much because I'll get hit as it comes around. So I can only hold it straight. I might be able to, well, I don't know, sand the edges, or I guess I can hold it. I can not have it spinning and sand the edges, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I'll show you whatever it is I can do. Just like that, just kind of playing around, doing the best I can. If that doesn't work, or there's places I can't get, I'll use a wire brush to get way down in here. And I have smaller ones as well. And I'll just do the best I can. And then with it spinning in reverse at about 380. Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. Boy. Well. Okay, that works. I don't know. Probably going to take a lot of hand sanding, messing around like that. I know that doesn't tell you much. I don't know. I don't know what I can do. I'll just keep doing something until it's done. I'll bring you back then. Be sure you stick around to the end of the video so you can see the before and after shots of this piece. If you'd share the video, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I really would love people to see what can come from a sycamore tree branch. What do you think? It will stand up. It'll actually stand up on either end. But it wants to lean a little bit. I think it leans forward. On either end, it leans forward. Kind of like that. So I could easily cut these ends so that they're more square with the bottom. And speaking of the bottom, there it is. I gotta tell you, I'm really proud of myself for saving that foot. I just think it was, I don't know, ingenious of me. I don't say that kind of thing often, but when you see this setting down, you can't really see when it's sitting down, you know, lower than eye level. You can't see what's supporting it. Because from that end, it just looks just like it does from that end. And it sets on this area right here, and then that foot. and it's quite stable. It doesn't rock, it doesn't wiggle, it doesn't wobble, it doesn't do anything. It just sits there, and I don't think it hurts the appearance of it at all. I'm in love with this piece, and I showed a picture of it to my daughter, and she says, "I want to own that, please." So I guess it's not leaving the family anytime soon. But it's not leaving my house either anytime soon. I told her she was going to have to wait a while. For the smallest amount of turning I've ever done on a piece, this was the most difficult to do. And you probably can't even tell that I did any turning, right? I did turn that top. I opened it up a little bit in here, both sides. That's the best I could do. I just could not get the angle I needed to open up the lower parts of the hole. I just couldn't get an angle without hitting specifically this lip right here. That one cleared it okay, but this one couldn't do it. And I don't think anybody else could do it either. And the way the bark turned out, it's so smooth yet textured, of course. But you can run your hand over any part of this. Nothing will catch you. Nothing's sharp. Nothing's gonna catch your clothing or anything like that. It's smooth. I spent a lot of time making it like that, yet it still is quite natural looking. And like I said, that part right there looks like waves on a beach to me. I've brought a few items out from the house to set in there so you get an idea of what it could look like. I don't have quite the right thing at all. I brought out about 5 or 6 different things and none of them look just right. But I can find something that'll look just right. You could put a plant in there, for instance. That would probably look great. I brought out candles and vases and things like that to put in there, and I'll show you all that. In fact, let me show you that right now. First of all, see how the foot looks? I think that's pretty cool. I have this vase, which is, of course, way too tall, but you get the idea. Something a little larger in diameter and a little bit shorter would look good. And I have this little electronic candle. It's too small. And this metallic looking candle holder. Too small. Then I have this tall electronic candle. Looks okay. Needs to be larger diameter. And this shortest one. That looks pretty good. Needs to be larger diameter. And then the medium one, which might be my favorite, but they're all too small. But you get the idea, you know. Get a plant with a 2.5 inch diameter, put it in there, 2.5 inch candles, whatever. I'm sure you guys can come up with some really good idea of what to put in there. Be sure to put your ideas in the comments. I'd really love to know what I should be looking for next time I go to Goodwill or wherever I might find just the right thing, or any retail store, I don't care. Most of all, thank you to Daron Thomas from Texas for sending this along for all to enjoy. If you like this video, thumbs up please, I'd sure appreciate it. If you're a subscriber, thank you very kindly, I truly appreciate that. I also appreciate you spending your time with me today. It's been a pleasure. I look forward to your comments. So for now, this is Phil, Shady Acres Woodshop, signing off.